If you tried to communicate with us, we appreciate it. You showed yourself to us, we appreciate it. We can come back to help you more. If you did. What was that?
Halloween night, we had an opportunity to investigate a site that was allegedly haunted.
It was in this mobile home park on the north side of Madison, where Tom works as a maintenance man there now.
359 Raven Lane. We were turned on to this investigation by the manager of the community, who had to go in and take pictures of the property since we were taking it over.
She goes there to take pictures around in this abandoned mobile home that they have there. She gets into the bathroom and she feels this overwhelming presence of someone there with her, watching her.
She was very frightened, like she wasn't alone.
So she snaps off a photo. Looks like the classic, oh my God, you just got cigarette smoke in your camera here, or breath condensation.
But being as it was one of the inventory homes on site, she wasn't smoking inside the home.
And it was plenty warm in there. There was no breath condensation, and it's verified through all of the dozens and dozens of photos she took. Not a single instance of any sort of breath condensation going on here.
And she captured a picture of this mist-like apparition.
Of course, she told Tom about it, and she said she would allow us to go ahead and conduct a paranormal investigation overnight there, unsupervised.
We had to go paranormally investigate.
This was a great opportunity for us to go ahead and conduct an experiment with a brand new Vandegraaff generator, which is a device that uses a belt to create friction that builds up static electricity into the giant silver ball on top.
It pumps out many thousands of volts of electricity with very little amperage. Plus, with active electrical, we had a place to plug it in.
Also, I had obtained a vintage reel-to-reel, and I wanted to experiment with magnetic tape recording, so brought that along with us as well.
0.0, 53 degrees. We start, nothing in the light, an EMF sweep.
Looked around the living room, took some EMF readings.
Nothing in the refrigerator. One of the first things we noticed was there was large EMF coming off of the furnace in the home. Yeah, major E.
Don't we want a control mic going? We decided to go ahead and place, per usual, a control mic, a voice recorder, out on the step in front of the door here.
I put it in a phone book with the microphone outside of it, facing away from the street.
With, a good inch of paper over it, heavy paper, to just sit there and hold the mic in place. Just to make sure that if there's any noise coming from the neighborhood, we would be able to rule out that contamination with the control mic outside. It's protocol. We do this for all our investigations. He does it. He comes back in, closes the door, and then as soon as he closes the door, almost immediately we get this plastic click right on the mic, or next to the mic, and following that, frequency pop. And another frequency pop. And other sounds around our control mic that we're starting to notice a lot on these investigations, which tend to signal paranormal activity.
We've developed something we call transient precursor theory. A frequency pop will appear on a recording device prior to a paranormal event.
It's something in the electronics that causes a frequency pop to occur just as paranormal activity is ramping up or occurring. And it's one of the few things that we can pretty reliably depend on seeing.
It's not a constant, but then again, you're dealing with the paranormal, and there are really no constants.
We have the bathroom.
Continue our EMF sweep. We take it into the bathroom where Michelle took this picture.
No EMF.
Odd vanity.
Didn't notice anything from the lights or the electrical outlets, which were all on at this time.
We've got power in here.
No water.
Get a momentary
I just got a 0.4
EMF hit
milligauss EMF hit.
on our millimeter.
This could be expected, so this is why we're doing the sweep. Without a baseline, we don't know what's normal or not normal.
But yeah, the picture was taken right here. That's where she recorded the picture of the mist apparition.
So we continue on with our EMF sweep.
We found most of the EMF was coming off of the furnace, which is right around the corner.
Now we're heading
So
into the back
we
bedroom.
walk into the back room and go ahead, find that circuit breaker box, shut all the electricity down in this place to make sure that that baseline is zero. Because we like to look at the changes in the environment when paranormal activity occurs.
Stuff just
That's
shut
one
off.
of the ways that we can help prove that it exists.
Yeah, I hear the difference.
The refrigerator stops humming. The furnace stops making its noise.
The whole place goes silent.
Stuff totally just shut off.
And then,
Oh, we've got more broken glass in here. We gotta be careful, dude.
yeah, because the back window was broken out here too. So I got 53.2.
After our EMF sweep,
We'll set up
we finished setting up our
a
equipment.
static cam here, shooting up to the front.
Yeah.
Although we'll have to turn that back on to fire up the Vandegraaff generator.
You would
Yeah.
imagine that ghosts probably follow the same sort of cycles up and down the hallway that a human would, so Tom sets up a static camera. There's a video camera in the back room facing right down that hallway where most of any traffic would be. This shot covers a good part of this mobile home here.
Put my light up here, it's at the height of my head.
So if anything passes, from the bathroom into the hallway or down the hallway, we would easily be able to see that.
We turn on our Ovulus, which is a PX talking device, in dictionary mode, where an entity can manipulate the energy around this device and cause a sum of the different energy it reads that correlates with a word.
Because we brought this Vandegraaff generator with us for an experiment, we wanted to have static field generators present, little black boxes with blue light on it, down the hallway,
Right, I'm gonna set these two up down the hallway.
so we can see any movement of that static field. Because the generators would pick up on that and glow.
One outside the bathroom, and then one towards this end. Cool.
Outside, our control mic is picking up these disturbances. These are movement noises that are right around on or near that microphone. It's like the microphone's getting messed with or shifted around. Well, me and Tom are inside, unaware that this is happening to our microphone.
Well, because then I'm gonna set up the battery experiment in the bathroom on the vanity counter.
As always in our investigations, we place our phones
Phone is going in the Faraday cage before this causes a problem.
in a Faraday cage.
which is a multi-layered enclosure that's insulation, conductive material layered up to shield a cell phone from being able to receive any communications, because cell phones will set off these devices. Even when they're idle, they're communicating with a cell phone tower, and they will ping the tower, and that will set off your K2, it will set off your instruments.
So then I go to set up our battery experiment in the bathroom. Hook a battery up to our voltmeter and put a camera on.
Recording on the DVC on the battery experiment.
The idea being, in the event an entity sucks up that battery energy, our video camera is going to see the voltmeter drop. It would be a spectacular piece of paranormal evidence if we could ever get an entity to actually go for this ghost trap.
We get our first ovulus hit.
Par for the course, your ovulus is going to spit out random words, and sometimes they make sense and sometimes they don't. But these ovuluses do certainly,
This is the first word of the
when they
night.
sound, they indicate a change in the environment, at the very least.
Change.
Is the word contextual? Is it timely? You have to weigh these things out when you have a PX talking device on your investigation.
Thermometer. It is 58% temperature.
Well, Tom and I are continuing to set up equipment in the living room. Something very strange begins to happen to the camera on the battery experiment in the bathroom.
Where it started to record this weird buzzing noise. And then the video file becomes corrupted.
Right, so we got,
And the camera shut itself off
that would have been the DVC in the bathroom.
on its own. We hear it out in the kitchen where we're at. And we go and we check it out.
Be careful of the wiki boxes in the hall.
Very, very strange occurrence already. That camera should not have shut down the way that it did. I've never seen this happen. And that disturbance in the audio channel, and something happened to that camera.
Not knowing this at the time, I went back, turned it back on,
Recording on the DVC in the bathroom again.
put it back on the battery experiment. Very interesting piece of evidence.
Very, very odd.
Yeah.
One of the things we like to do in a situation like this, after we finish our equipment setup, we like to exit the premises.
If there's anybody here with us right now,
Gives a chance for the energy
my name's Tom.
in the area of the investigation to kind of settle
It's my
down.
partner Marty.
Any entities there
We believe somebody has taken pictures of you in here before.
can get used to the stuff that's just all of
We
a
have
sudden
Various
been
items for
set
you.
up in their
We're
environment.
going to go outside for a minute.
We just like to take a breather
Let you get used to the stuff we have set up.
before we walk in fresh and start with our EVP session.
So we'll be back in a few minutes. See if you want to talk to us.
So me and Tom step outside for 5 or 10 minutes, just take a walk and let the house and all the equipment just settle in place.
See it right here? There's our outdoor contamination voice recorder with the recorder head sticking out of the phone book.
This is exactly where he had the control mic set up, right there in front of the door. It's under a good inch of paperweight.
So it's Halloween night. We go for a stroll. Everybody's got their decorations out. While we are down the block, wandering around the neighborhood, our audio sources inside the home record a series of movement noises, which sound very much like somebody walking across the floor of the home.
This trailer is vacant. We're several blocks
Does
away,
this place feel weird and abandoned this time of night?
and
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know it, but our mics are picking up movement sounds. Like feet, boom, 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 boom. Something moving in the trailer. And the control mic is being disturbed. We get back and re-enter the home. We go inside.
Check everything out.
The sea is still running.
The ambulance just said outside.
Really? Are you going outside? Who are the people that are connected to this place? Raymond M. Is that all right?
That's what it sounded like to me.
We started doing our
Yep.
EVP session.
All right. So now you're going to interact with us?
That box speaking words over there is capable of being manipulated. It's just one means that we have that you can communicate, so feel free to use it if you're not already. There's a Raymond M. who's connected to Cheryl. Looks like they probably got a divorce.
One of the first things I do is try to make a connection to individuals that were involved with this property.
Can't find any records
We
for
start
it anywhere.
going through all these notes we have
2004, 2008.
of people who lived in the home.
2008, Arnold took over.
Who lived there? Who were
He had
these
this
people?
disorderly conduct and battery charge.
Read out their names
He's connected
with
to this
hopes that
person,
it
Carol.
would cause a reaction out of whatever might be in here. If I could find the right name, maybe something would
Ralph
happen.
J. That were connected to this place.
Who's in here with us? Tell us your name.
And as we're doing our EVP session, the movement noises outside pick up. Our control mic outside keeps recording all these noises.
We want to communicate to whatever Michelle took the picture of.
Here in this bathroom.
If you're here, it feels cold in here, doesn't it?
It's 51.2 Fahrenheit.
51.3. Let me go measure outside. Damn it.
At some point,
You stepped on the blinking box, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh dear. I just felt it crush under my feet.
Marty just flat stomped the life out of one of our poor little static field generators.
I'm getting like 52.1 out here. And I'm getting 51.1 in here.
You're 58.
All right, this little box that I'm holding, top of your, you can set that off with your energy to let us know that you're with us, and we can start from there.
Who turned off the camera?
That we have sitting here. I feel a cold spot on my elbow.
At this point, whatever was in that place was not talking to us. We got no direct responses.
Turning the breaker box back on.
Nothing we said could seem to elicit a response.
Close one of those doors. Interact with something.
It wouldn't touch the gear, it wouldn't set the stuff off. But something keeps messing with that mic out there. And it ain't us.
Did you hear that?
What'd you hear?
I heard movement up here. All right, who did I hear just move in here?
What kind of a sound did you hear?
There's a movement noise that's so tight.
It was loud enough that Tom heard it inside.
Look around outside, don't see nothing.
But I definitely heard a movement noise out here.
But our control mic clearly recorded the noise that I heard. So we get to the portion of the evening that I've been looking forward to.
All right, commencing with the Vandegraaff generator experiment.
We plug in and fire up the Vandegraaff generator.
I gotta say, I was a little bit nervous, knowing it, 450,000 volts, static electricity is pretty significant. It's like, just how much energy does it take to make a spirit dangerous?
Now, this piece of equipment is incredibly noisy.
You can hear this loud and clear outside on the control mic.
Turn it down for a second, because you got to be careful with the belts on a Vandegraaff generator. Turn it back on again. And again, there's contact to the mic, movement noises, and just continued weirdness outside. Why it happens outside, I don't know.
Finally, we got this thing all charged up. And we turned off the Vandegraaff generator. And then, as soon as that happens,
We got a giant positive ion field here.
the control mic records this flurry of snap, crackle, pop noises. whole bunch of rain falling to the concrete.
Now, it was a calm night, a little breeze here and there, but there's no rain. Also, this home had the water turned off, so there should have been no water in the pipes. There was no way for this to have been produced naturally.
At this point, Tom went outside, and I prepared to conduct my own solo investigation and my reel-to-reel EVP session experiment.
We really wanted to see what we could possibly do with the medium of magnetic tape instead of just our digital voice recorders that we use.
It wasn't a perfect situation because I'd just gotten this thing this day, so I didn't have a fresh reel to use. But I wanted to see if it worked anyway, so I did a little EVP session with the reel-to-reel. Right, in theory, we're recording. Okay, come on over to the fireplace and talk to me. Tell me what it's like on the other side. Tell me what your name is. After asking a series of standard EVP questions, I rewound the tape, which I didn't start recording right from the beginning of this reel, but when I finished and played it back, I rewound it all the way to the beginning. In the sliver of tape before my EVP session begins, there's some other thing recorded on this reel-to-reel. And this is what came out of it.
What is this
I couldn't resist sharing this with our viewers. We can't claim any authenticity to this tape whatsoever, so don't get me wrong with that. I don't know where this came from. But here I am on a paranormal investigation testing out my reel-to-reel, and this reel-to-reel tape, it has this recording on it. I don't know what to tell you about this other than that I was as shocked as you are, probably. Poor Tom, he's outside. You can hear all this demonic stuff coming out of the trailer.
All of a sudden, I hear all this yelling coming from inside the home.
He comes in, it's like, what the heck are you doing, man?
Please tell me that's you.
No, it's not. I don't know. Maybe this was on the tape before. It's really disturbing, isn't it? I checked out the reel afterwards, of course, and the rest of the reel is filled with this lady, like, reading math problems.
Come on over to the fireplace.
Just this, the whole thing. Except for that beginning sliver, right at the beginning, before my EVP session.
Like on the other side.
This weird, like, garbled demon
Tell me
voice.
what your name is.
So, yeah. That happened.
That was the refrigerator kicking on. Who are you?
We're doing this exhaustive EVP session.
Why did you scare my boss?
We're trying everything we can. We use another piece of equipment, our EM pump.
Shut that door down there.
And we set up a REM pod, and we're throwing everything we can at this investigation.
Shut the door.
to see if we can get what freaked out my boss
Was that you
to
on the tape
manifest
that Marty
himself,
was recording?
to try to communicate with us, to do something, just
Come out of that back bedroom.
anything.
Come suck some. Yeah, reason? We're gonna have to go to Michelle and tell her that there's nothing here. This way it's gonna go down. We're gonna step outside, and then we're gonna come back in,
We decided to go outside because nothing's working.
and we're probably gonna take off.
And if you left your voice on our equipment, we'll find it.
So Marty sets the investigator handy cam on the
I
floor.
don't think it takes you seriously. Just said laugh.
Laugh, huh?
Laugh.
We go back outside, and I state,
That is weird.
this is just a big strikeout.
Oh, it's a big strikeout.
We tried everything, got nothing.
My brain started to second guess itself. Yeah, well, get our best.
But, I was feeling the same way. It was like, man, I put everything into this, and we didn't think we were really getting anything. But all of the audio sources, inside and outside, at this time record what sounds like a child's voice saying, "You did good." Doesn't sound like me or Tom. It's a voice that's louder than ours, and it reverberates inside of the trailer. I have every reason to believe that this voice was outside with us, but we don't tag it. We didn't say that we heard a voice.
It is a Class A EVP. Now, we're still outside, and our static camera sitting on the kitchen counter suddenly stops recording. At least 2 hours before it should have.
But it doesn't turn off. The camera didn't run out of batteries yet. The IR light on the camera is still on. And then you hear this odd noise the moment that the IR light on the camera finally turns off.
Now, unless the entire unit is shut off, the IR light can only be turned off through the manipulation of a switch on the camera. This is significant because that switch had to have been turned off, because it's literally a minute later that this camera turns itself off, because if it's just left on and not recording, it will turn itself off after a period of time.
The way that this camera shut down was highly unusual. If it had shut down due to a battery drainage, you'd have seen the IR light turn off along with the rest of the camera and heard the camera audibly report that it was shutting itself off. That's what should have happened.
So whatever was here turned off this camera, turned off its IR light, and then eventually, because it's not recording, the camera just shuts itself down.
This is when we begin to record some stunning noises inside of the trailer while we're outside, several feet away from the trailer looking in through the windows. Using our scoring technique where we synchronize all of the audio tracks from every piece of gear, you can actually see in the track the waveform of this disturbance inside of the trailer, and prove by looking at the microphone that's with us, that we're not making this sound. There it is. I mean, that's physical evidence. Those noises are inside of this trailer where no one is in it.
At this point, we need to explain a couple of things. As we were reviewing our evidence, we noticed that our Rex camera, one of our most reliable pieces of equipment, malfunctioned. It stopped taking a picture every minute.
Normally, Rex shoots a picture once a minute, unless it's detecting motion and it fires off 10.
It took a picture right about the time the IR light stopped working. And then it didn't take another shot until its motion sensor is again triggered by Marty and I coming into the home. And these two pictures had something in common that was very interesting. If you notice in the Rex imagery, the door to a cabinet in the back of the kitchen had managed to close on its own in between these two photos. On multiple occasions throughout the investigation, we asked the entity in this home,
Shut that door down there.
to shut a door for us.
Close one of those doors.
And this door closed by itself. Now, we check out this camera. I come in, I pick it up, and I turn it on.
Tom turned it on to check the battery, and the IR light should have come on. And it doesn't.
Say the battery's low.
Of course, we realized none of this on site. All we know is that we got a camera that just died early.
This is odd.
It's suspicious, but from our perspective, we'd been doing these EVP sessions for several hours. We're getting no responses. We just got dead cameras.
I don't like these. I mean, I've got a couple hours left on
And so at this point, we're like, let's pack her down. And we walk into the back room to pick up that static cam.
communicate with us. Appreciate it. You showed yourself to us. We appreciate it.
Go back to the back bedroom. And as soon as I lean into frame,
We can come back to help you more. If you did,
We hear this huge crash
what was that?
in the main room. Scares the life out of us. We cautiously walk back and start looking around to see what could have possibly made this noise.
What the hell was that, dude?
I don't know, but I set that camera right back on top of that box.
What? Oh,
The camera that was sitting on the box on the counter
that was a handy cam thing.
was on the floor.
But how did it launch itself off the box that way?
this camera launches itself off of the counter and into the living room.
That should be on tape.
It was at that moment that we realized, oh my
The
god,
camera should have got it.
the static cam that's shooting down the hallway should have gotten that on tape.
Unless I was standing in front of it.
If you did,
My next thought is,
what about this one?
what about the camera on the mantle? But when I had picked up the camera off the floor,
I think it's barely off.
I must have accidentally hit the zoom
Yeah, it's
button,
not.
and the camera zoomed in on me, so that when I set it on the mantle,
It was zoomed in.
it was slightly out of frame.
You can come back. Help you more. You did. Okay, this camera just on its own accord, I guess, fell off of this box over here.
A Rex camera was also pointed at this.
It says, can you?
And Rex even had the camera in view. It's right at the bottom of the frame. But whatever happened to that camera was so fast that Rex's motion circuitry didn't catch it. Because you just see the camera there in one frame, and then in the next frame, we're in the room already going, what happened? What caused this crash? Just tragic.
Okay, I want you to fill
The way this
the
camera
angle
was set up,
that box is on.
it was sitting on a box.
And I set this on here like this,
It actually went upwards
and then it launched itself forward.
Even if
and
it
then
slid
out.
forward, it should have hit the rim of this and ended up like that.
It literally picked itself up.
But the box wasn't disturbed.
Look how sturdy it is besides, dude.
Yeah, well, the box wasn't disturbed.
And flung itself into the living room.
Oh, man. That's a weird one.
All of our cameras are just out of frame.
3 cameras. How is this possible?
Why do these things always happen when they're on frame?
Did you knock that off of there?
Very sad that we missed that. But when you slow down that footage, just as Tom's turning to look at what caused the initial crash as the noise is happening, because it was such a clamor, he's moving out of the way just as that camera's rolling across the ground out in the kitchen, and you see the little black shape going across the ground. Real special piece of evidence that we got here. But what we do got is a lot of supporting evidence to really put the pieces together enough to be able to know we definitely had something messing with us in that mobile home trailer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was very interesting on a night. We thought we didn't get nothing. Then all of a sudden we get this obvious
Right.
poltergeist activity.
Well, if that was you that did that, we appreciate it.
If it sent any message to us at all, it was, I'm gonna knock your camera over.
Knock that camera over again?
I'm gonna mess with your control mic. But then we get this EVP that's like,
We get a series of things happen. Just out of camera range, just out of the frame, behind us, to the side of the camera, footsteps and knocks inside a home when nobody's there. This closet door in the kitchen swings itself shut, and then our camera launches itself off of the counter and into the living room. It's this weird trickster aspect to these things that we're looking for.
So, you, oh man, ugh.
Spiderweb?
That's what I felt like. I just felt like I got touched on the side of the head.
Because of the activity we had in the
There ain't
trailer,
no spiderwebs over there, dude.
I would have to conclude
Yeah, I know that. I'm heebie-jeebying out right now. Just super bad.
that there is paranormal activity
Feel like you got touched?
occurring
Right up here like I walked through a spider web.
at 359 Raven.
Alright. We are in fact leaving now.
maybe there's something to this picture that Michelle took. Maybe the Vandegraaff generator worked.
You can't come with us. You can't follow us.
It was Halloween.
You have to stay here. But you should head towards the light.
Which is a date where
There's no reason to stay.
the veil between this world and the next
This place is old and they're gonna change it.
And then new people are going to move in.
is the lowest.
That's bail.
almost like you feel like something should be peeking out of that back hallway at us.
Yeah, I wish it would.
Small.